So this is going to be a series about the divine masculine. And this is going to be the first video in the series. So first I want to talk about my experiences growing up from what you could call boyhood into manhood. And the differences I felt between these two stages in my life. Now, when I was in my teenage years, I used to suffer from a lot of anxiety and didn't have much self-confidence. And this left me very depressed, very weak in the mind. I didn't have the strength, psychological strength speaking, to basically stand true to my own views on stuff. And it let me into a very collectivist way of thinking. Now, as I got older, and particularly when I entered my 20s, all this started to change. And I gained a lot more confidence. I became a lot more assertive. And when, for example, when someone says to me something what could be presumed offensive, I usually don't get offended by it anymore. I don't feel this sensitivity in my heart, which used to lead me into depression. I kind of just brush it off my shoulders now and kind of don't really care. Whereas before my teenage years, I used to, if someone said something to me I found offensive or whatever, I used to get very depressed about it, and usually just carried on for about a week or something of this kind of low energy in my heart chakra. Now that doesn't really happen anymore. I'm not saying that, for an hour or something I might feel something, but it's very easy to brush off, and when it does, it's never as potent. It's something which is like, I may reflect upon it, but it will just go away and I'll get over it the next day or something, or even shorter about that in the next hour. So how this relates to divine masculinity is, to be divine masculine, first, you must be assertive and confident within yourself. In fact, that is the trait of being masculine in general. Now, I think a lot of millennials like myself who are growing up have been through the experiences that I just told you. And the reason why is because the masculine archetypes have been incredibly inverted within our culture today and distorted. We often hear the term alpha male, and that's meant to be the ideal of a divine masculine man. However, what is the alpha male? When you hear or feel the stereotype of an alpha male, what comes to mind is someone who's usually quite shallow, a man who's usually quite shallow, whose main only endeavour is gaining more material wealth and, taking in very hedonistic pleasures like going to parties, having sex with as many women as he can get, and having, just taking as many cocaine lines as he can. That's not masculine at all. It's definitely not divine masculine. A divine masculine entity studies. He studies hard as history. because it is the men what preserve the history within their mind so they can carry on its legacy. It is men who go and create the culture within their tribe, within their nation, or for their people in general. So our perceptions of what masculinity is in today's society is a very negative one. And I do understand why then a lot of men from my generation growing up see it as also a very negative thing to be manly. But they've been given a concept of masculinity which isn't even masculine in the first place. So then they're lost and they don't know what actually is to be a man. And then if they don't go into the alpha male role, their expression of masculinity goes into violence and crime. Because they see this as an expression of masculinity as well. Because men are driven to almost want conflict in a sense, want competition. And because, particularly when you get into your 20s, your testosterone starts to flow through you, you kind of get that feeling of you want to go and fight. This is why usually the desired age to be in the military is a man in his 20s or 30s, because he has that high testosterone, that will to go out and fight. But then we have a very inverted version of the warrior archetype, which is you've just got to be good at fighting and that's it. Okay, yes, being skillful at fighting is important, but the concept of the warrior goes far more deeper than this. It's about the psychology of the warrior, and how the warrior needs to be in control of his own emotions, the sternness of a man's emotions, that he can't just be chaotic within his emotions. He needs stability. He needs to know to attack once he's been attacked. Basically self-defense. And most importantly, the concept of honor, which in one word describes divine masculinity. Honor isn't even a concept in our culture anymore. Men think that the highest morality they can achieve is to buy into very feminized collectivist concepts instead of honor. And the collectivist way of thinking, which is infused in our society as being the most highest of virtues, is in fact feminizing men. Now, I'm not talking about feminizing men as in they become more feminine as in feminine energy. I'm talking about psychologically. I'm talking about psychologically so they can weaken the men. Mainly because women are attracted to men who have a very strong psychology. It's not so much about actually the way men look. It's more about the psyche they're more attracted to. Is this man strong within his psychology? Does he stand by what he truly believes? Does he keep to his own views and opinions? And doesn't just change them to a virtue signal? Women are attracted to this strong psychology. And now that psychology within men is weakened, this leaves women not being attracted to the men. Also, you have agendas, which the architects of basically the system we live under want men more psychologically feminized. So that they won't have any trouble with the men rising up and combating the architects themselves. Because men have a fighting spirit within them, and when they see something that really, really makes them angry, they go out and fucking fight. What we need, us men, is to have masculine role models within our lives. And this is why I specifically encourage for men of every single race and culture to look into the masculine archetypes of their ancestors. Now, the masculine archetypes of my ancestors specifically are that of Thor, Tyr, and Odin, who all possess warrior characteristics. And when working with these archetypes, or these gods, deities, it helps me understand how I can become a better man each day. And they have generally taught me things. What it actually means to be masculine. Thor teaches me the value of hard work every single day. He teaches me why I need to work harder. Tyr teaches me discipline in a multiplicity of ways. And Odin teaches me more, above everything else, wisdom. So when working with these archetypes, they are the most highest of any masculine role model you can have. Because they are eternal. They are within us. Now, divine masculinity is a challenging thing to live up to. And it's not easy. And it took me some years now to finally realise what it actually is. And I know individuals out there who are more divine masculine than I am. But I'm still in my 20s, my late 20s specifically. And I'm still learning every single day how to become, or how to transcend myself to divine masculinity. So if you're watching this and you're, a younger person, a younger man than me, and you don't feel that you're masculine within yourself, there is still time to change. And because I was there once, and it takes time, and it takes learning from other men, particularly older men than you are, to realise what a man or of divine masculinity should express themselves like. So I will be adding to this in the future. I just want to put my thoughts out there on this subject matter, because I think it's important for people to know it, for particularly men to know about. That's all I've got to say for now. Speak to you next time.